Present. So, stand up. Hello, Peter.
Hello, everyone. I'd stand up too, but it doesn't work quite the same on Zoom, you know?
All right. Here, I'll make my over here. We are glad you could join us today. Chip and I went through your quick bio, and one thing I was gonna talk about that I didn't is we pulled your 5 priorities from the Kiwanis magazine. I was hoping you could talk about those.
I surely shall.
Goals for the year. So we'll let you take it away.
Okay. How is everybody today? Let me get myself sorted out a little bit here.
Great, volume's okay.
And we'll get going. Well, the first thing I wanted to do was to thank you all for the invitation to speak with you this afternoon. I prepared a little bit for the meeting by taking a look at some of the service activities that you folks have conducted in the past. And I saw that you have a number of imaginative service projects, such as your film festival for teens. I thought that was kind of neat. And your global tournament, that was very interesting. I also see that you have activities that are more traditional for Kiwanis clubs, such as supporting your Salvation Army, along with your with key clubbers to ring bells this time of year. And I also noted that you are involved in a reading program at your local Head Start reading program. I also saw that you have a charitable foundation, which is usually a good sign for a club. If it's gone through the trouble of forming one, it usually has a need for one if it forms one. And I, of course, took note of the fact that you have quite a bit of Kiwanis firepower in your club. Governor Mark, hello, Governor Mark. Key Club District Administrator and Kiwanis Youth Programs Board Member Alexis. Hello again, Alexis. And so on behalf of Kiwanis International, I do want to thank you all for the many ways in which your members serve the Kiwanis family at the club, the district, and at the international level. It is all much appreciated. That being said, I would like to begin with a story today. Many years ago, when our children, Stephen and Kathy, were young, I used to bring them with me every year as part of a Kiwanis contingent helping out at our local games for the physically challenged. One year, our daughter Kathy brought a friend who was clearly uncomfortable at being around people with disabilities. But to Kathy, who was part of a Kiwanis family, it was all perfectly normal. That was when I first realized that Kiwanis was not only fun for me and good for the people whom we serve, but that it was good for my own family as well, that it could help make all of us more tolerant, charitable, and understanding. And from that time on, I saw Kiwanis in an entirely different light. And Kathy, by the way, went on to become a 2-term Key Club high school president. Kiwanis became our second family. And like many of you, I found it to be the perfect vehicle to take the best part of who I am and share it with others, whether they were my fellow members or those in the community whom we serve. And in doing that, I came to experience the miracle of Kiwanis, which is this: in the act of enriching the lives of others, you enrich your own life every bit as much, just in a different sort of way. As Kiwanis members, we make life better not only for our own children and grandchildren, but for children of the entire world, so that future generations can prosper and grow. For more than a century, Kiwanis clubs have served children in their communities and around the world, lending a hand so that children will have what they need to succeed in life. We enthusiastically pursue creative ways to make transformational differences that improve the lives of children in their communities. Many children depend directly or indirectly on Kiwanis for such things as vaccines, food, books, safe playgrounds, leadership development, and many other important life necessities. And we do this as part of a Kiwanis global network that is much larger than clubs and members. We connect and collaborate with schools, hospitals, governments, nonprofits, corporations, foundations, and others to improve the lives of children. Kiwanis and its global network of partners are needed now more than ever as the world faces new problems and new challenges. Now, more than ever, we share responsibility to ensure that Kiwanis is strong and growing through new clubs, new members, and new ways of extending our service in communities. Children are quite literally depending on us. With that in mind, I would like to speak with you about the priorities that I've set as president for this year and ask for your help to achieve them. Our first priority is to improve the club experience in order to increase the value that every Kiwanian finds in membership, as well as to attract new members. Let's start out by recognizing that everything of value in Kiwanis happens at the club level, and that the purpose of every other part of our organization is to help our clubs offer outstanding service opportunities and fellowship to their members. People join Kiwanis because they expect to find value in membership. They remain members if they do. In order to succeed in recruiting and retaining members, the club needs to provide a membership experience that would make someone want to be a member of that club. Unless a club does that, why would anyone join it? And why would anyone stay if they were there? Kiwanis offers a whole host of ACE tools to achieve club excellence, but only about 30% of our clubs use them. And those clubs often fail to take action when they identify changes that should be made. Well, that's what needs to change. Every club should use the ACE tools to conduct an annual assessment of the value that it offers to its members and the service that it renders to its community. Clubs should make such changes as are needed to improve the club experience for their members. Doing so will make it far more likely that a club's recruitment efforts will be successful and will produce long-lasting members, which brings us to the larger question of membership growth. Our second priority is to increase membership through club growth, retention, and new club openings. Why do we always place such a high value on membership growth and opening new clubs? Well, a growing membership means more service, and in particular, hands-on service. A growing membership means greater fellowship. A growing membership solves financial problems at every level of our organization. A growing membership means more outstanding leaders who are willing to serve. And all of these things become even more important as we recover from the effects of the pandemic. On average, more than 27,000 people join Kiwanis each year, showing that people see value and worth in the Kiwanis experience. Whether a member joins a new club or an existing club, each new member provides assistance to an estimated 204 children by actively engaging in club service and fundraising activities. If more of us invited more people to our meetings, to our events, and to our service projects, the Kiwanis membership ranks would grow, and we would be able to help more children. More Kiwanians means a bigger impact on the children who live in our communities. The pandemic took a great toll on these efforts, and we need everyone to get back in the game now by inviting friends, family, colleagues, and others to join our efforts to help children. Opening new clubs is also vital to building Kiwanis in communities worldwide, so that Kiwanis can remain positioned to meet the needs of children for years to come. In the 3 years preceding the pandemic, more than 1,000 communities were changed for the better because Kiwanis found a need that was not being met for children in their neighborhoods. And we have seen over and over again that districts do not increase in membership unless they meet their new club opening targets. The techniques that we use to open new clubs are well established, but they require advanced planning, manpower, and a commitment to see the club through its first several years while it's trying to find its bearings. Historically, less than 60% of our clubs survive the first 5 years. Seeing a new club through its infancy requires the right people for that job and perseverance. With this in mind, our approach to new club opening this year will reflect the following. When funding is available, KI club opening specialists and volunteers will be brought in to help with club opening events only when there is a sincere commitment on the part of the divisions involved and the district to the success of that effort. That requires advanced planning by those on the ground who are most familiar with the chosen community, which sometimes has not happened in the past. A sponsoring club and a club coach should be identified before volunteers and KI staff are committed to the event. When a recruiting team is brought in to help, it should continue recruiting for the entire time that it is scheduled to be there, and not leave early if it decides that it's recruited enough members, which has also happened. For that matter, we should be looking to recruit a minimum of 20 members, not the required 15, and we shouldn't be counting dual members against that number. In fact, our international board amended KI procedures last year to exclude dual members from the count. Lastly, we should not conduct a new club's organizational meeting until it is actually ready for it. We should not run poorly organized, poorly attended organizational meetings merely to accommodate a recruiting team's desire to have it happen before they leave town. In other words, we should be doing everything possible from the opening of a club to give it a good chance of survival. We will all need to work together to grow our membership this year in whatever ways we can, whether or not recruiting prospective members is your strong suit or your principal passion. And in order to do so, we will need to open new clubs that are built to last. And while we open as many new clubs as we can, it is also very important that we close the back door, that we retain and engage the members we have, and work to keep existing Kiwanis clubs prosperous and growing to be able to have even more ambitious service projects over time. We also know that continued support and mentoring are necessary for sustainable Kiwanis clubs. We need to work to bring clubs under charter strength back to thriving membership levels and revitalize the impact that the club makes on the community it serves. Clubs that have been opened in the past 3 years especially need continued nurturing. Those who serve in the role of a club coach, club counselor, working to strengthen membership in our clubs, play a vital role in this, and we thank them greatly. But as we focus on membership and opening new clubs, let's always remember that at the heart of what we do are friendship and collaboration. Kiwanis Fellowship has been and will continue to be the engine that drives service, membership, and everything else that we do. Our third priority is to expand Kiwanis youth programs to positively impact more young people around the world and to develop tomorrow's leaders. It's my hope that in the future, our predominant form of service will be developing tomorrow's global leaders through our service leadership programs, the largest of which is Key Club. And it is very important for our clubs to appoint Kiwanis advisors who are fully faithful to the duties of sponsorship. Our service leadership programs are what make us unique. They are what we know how to do the best. They represent hands-on service, not just raising money to give to others who actually render the service. They offer our greatest opportunity to make this world a better place. Our SLPs are the jewels in the crown of Kiwanis, and they continue to grow. Combined, their membership pre-pandemic was nearly double that of Kiwanis's membership. And we must ensure that they enjoy the benefits of their membership in a safe and secure environment. We are doing that with strengthened youth protection initiatives, full compliance on background checks, and continued growth of the Culture of Care program for Key Club. We've also established a youth protection helpline, which should be contacted by anyone who believes that a youth involved in Kiwanis may be at risk. The 2021 school year will mark our largest recruitment effort in modern times as we have launched Operation Homecoming. Homecoming's goals are to provide the tools and resources at the international, district, and club level to welcome back members who may have taken a year off due to the pandemic, to ensure that all of our members enjoy a positive membership experience, and to expand our service profile in underserved communities. We will continue to build and deliver on the promise of greater programmatic materials for all SLP programs, including meeting kits, service, and leadership events, and more. In doing so, our SLP programs continue to cultivate future servant leaders, including potential Kiwanis leaders. However, there is much more that we can do to accomplish this. Historically, the beneficiaries of SLP leadership development have largely been limited to their elected and appointed leaders. We now have in place a full-scale youth leadership development curriculum that is available to all Key Club and Circle K members. This is our new Global Leadership Certificate program. It is designed to be a certificated program that will provide them with the tools to be effective leaders in all areas of life. It will be something tangible for all Key Club members to assist them in being admitted to the colleges of their choice. It will make us a more welcome, attractive extracurricular activity in schools that may not have welcomed us in the past or that might not be inclined to welcome us back following the pandemic. The first 3 courses in this program were offered during its pilot phase last year. They were taken by approximately 3,000 Key Club and Circle K members. The program is now ready to move to a full curriculum with 12 offerings at no cost to our students. And it's something that I'm very excited about. You should also know, and you'd better know, that most of our SLPs are overseen now by a separate corporation whose board historically consisted of exactly the same members of our international board. That has now changed. We have populated a separate Kiwanis Youth Programs Board, whose sole responsibility is to oversee these programs, with expertise to do so in such areas as education, leadership development, district administration, and youth protection. This is a significant change that is better serving our SLP members. And I will go off script for a moment before I proceed to my 4th priority to tell you that Alexis, as a member of that board, is doing a wonderful job, and I'm very pleased with the great work that the board in whole has done. I'm sure a lot of what I just said has been said to you before, since you have Alexis as a member of your club, but I figured it wouldn't hurt hearing it from the international president and letting you know how high a priority it enjoys. Back to my priorities. Our 4th priority is to offer educational and training opportunities to better prepare our own current and future leaders for success. One of the recurring themes in high-performing clubs, divisions, and districts is that they all have great leaders at the top. As such, leadership education is vital to the future of Kiwanis service. Our ambitions go beyond Kiwanis service, however. Our comprehensive new leadership development program, Kiwanis Amplify, began this past spring as a web-based program for Kiwanians and graduating CKI members that culminated in live sessions at our conference in Salt Lake City. Its goals are to provide personal and professional leadership development and to improve the Kiwanis leadership pipeline at all levels. However, it offers education and leadership skills that can be carried into any setting, Kiwanis, business, or otherwise. Participants learn key concepts such as leadership, strategic planning, event planning, marketing, communication, working as a team, self-care, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. The material is intentionally different from what Kiwanians learn to train to hold positions in our organization. Following that program, it's more than 760 participants were surveyed to see how it could be improved, expanded, and marketed for our new session, which will open next spring. However, registration for that session opened yesterday. Our 5th priority is to support the Kiwanis Children's Fund, which should come as no surprise since I am a past president of the fund and I have seen all of its good works up close. The fund harnesses the collective impact of Kiwanians around the world to meet the needs of children in many ways clubs and districts cannot do on their own. In 2020, the fund made more than 50 grants to help clubs facing immediate challenges facing children due to the pandemic. Since the start of the 2018-2019 year, the Children's Fund has awarded $4.3 million in grants and scholarships. The Children's Fund provides funds for projects that focus on these areas: youth leadership development, child education and literacy, and child health and wellness, the last of which includes our historical initiatives in the areas of maternal and neonatal tetanus and iodine deficiency disorders. Here's what I believe the fund's future should hold. We should not undertake a new worldwide service project anytime soon. The focus of our grants should largely be on supporting our SLPs, particularly when that may be helpful in building a new Kiwanis Club. In that regard, we have found that the opening and supporting of a key club is often a great incentive to form a Kiwanis Club. We should form a Key Club Alumni Association, which would greatly increase our ability to raise funds from them. We should also form a Circle K Alumni Association to accomplish the same things for that organization. Finally, I expect that the Children's Fund will become more involved in assisting and counseling club and district foundations to conduct their own charitable work. The fund is staffed by experts who are anxious to help clubs and districts with fundraising strategies, foundation management, and grant seeking. If this may be useful to you with your foundation, please give them a call. So there you have it. 5 presidential priorities, 5 areas of focus for this year. And I can sum them up for you in 20 words. Improve the club experience. Increase our membership. Expand our service leadership programs. Develop our future leaders. Support our Children's Fund. Those are 20 words that will require a tremendous commitment from all of us working together to be realized for the good of Kiwanis and those whom we serve. In closing, I would like to thank you for everything that you do to support the great work of Kiwanis. Let's all make a special effort as this year progresses to share the things that we love the most about Kiwanis with others by making our meetings so special that no one would ever want to be anywhere else, by undertaking service projects that bring real value to membership, by inviting new members to join us, and by assisting in opening new clubs to better serve the children of the world. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Peter. And I've got Chip over here in the corner. I'm not sure. Here we go. I'll sneak in here. Chip's hiding over here just off camera, so he's here as well. Can we ask a couple questions? We have questions for you.
Of course. But if they have to do with service leadership programs, I'm going to have you answer them.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fair. All right.
No, by all means, go ahead. If anybody has any questions, please do.
Peter, we have lots of attorneys in the room. Do you have any good stories from your career that you want to share that might be of interest to some Idaho boys?
Well, you may be interested in the fact that one of my cases became a movie.
Yeah,
That's right.
Tell that story. I've heard that one. That's good.
Well, I'll tell the short version. I actually do a program for legal groups on the subject. But yeah, I mean, basically what happened was that I guess it's coming up on almost 20 years ago now, 15, 20 years ago, I was the lead prosecutor on a case involving a school district on Long Island, the Roslyn School District, in which the superintendent, the assistant superintendent for business, and the account clerk stole about $6.6 million from the district over a period of years. And, we prosecuted them, and they got to see what the inside of a jail cell looked like. And we actually recovered quite a bit of money because it turned out that the superintendent, his salary was so great that he had the ability to make restitution of the $2.2 million that he stole. And the assistant superintendent for business, who stole $4.4 million, was able to largely make restitution of that as well. It's very unusual in a case of that sort to see a significant amount of money recovered, money comparable to what was stolen. And then they recovered some insurance proceeds. But it became a movie as a result of the fact that one of the students there at the time later became a screenwriter and decided to write a script about it. And so the movie starred Hugh Jackman. The movie is called Bad Education. It was on HBO. It starred Hugh Jackman as the superintendent, Frank Tassone. I'm trying to remember the name of Ray Romano was the president of the school board. And the woman who plays the mother on the show with the comedy Thursday nights on CBS. I don't know if it's I Never Met Your Mother or Something Your Mother. Anyway, Allison Janney, that's her name. She was also in the movie. And it they tried to release it to theaters, but turned out HBO was the only party who was interested in buying it. But don't feel too sorry for them, because it was sold for $20 million, as I understand it. There is an unnamed district attorney in the movie. I don't believe he's me, because I was a much more friendly and pleasant person than this fellow appeared to be in the movie. But everyone should, and also, of course, they, the story, and of course, they're dramatizing the story. They got one little key fact wrong. They decided to create a student there and have the student be the person who revealed everything that had gone on, who unraveled the mystery of what had happened at the school. But in fact, it was my investigator and I. That wouldn't have made for that wouldn't have made a very interesting movie, would it? No. So that's a story. I worked in the frauds area for 35 years on and off, and I had another case in which Nassau County, my county, decided to end its insurance coverage through New York State, and in the course of adopting self-insurance, lost about $75 million. I was appointed along with others as acting federal prosecutors, and we were able to demonstrate to the satisfaction of several juries that the movement of the county to self-insurance was procured by fraud and bribery, and about a dozen people went to prison in connection with that.
Wow.
So it's a pleasure speaking about these kinds of matters instead of the ones I worked at every day.
Yeah, there was.
What I've discovered in life is that money is an instrument, and money can, we can accomplish incredibly great things with money to the benefit of people in need, and money can be a source of greed and ruining people's lives. It just depends on how you use it. That's the lesson of my career and my not-for-profit experience, I think.
There you go.
So Alexa,
Yeah.
I don't know if, can you hear me from here?
I can.
So what are you finding as we are hopefully emerging from the pandemic? Our clubs, our numbers are down. We've continued to meet during the pandemic, but any suggestions on how we complete the reemergence from this bizarre time?
I think you want to address that question to Dr. Fauci, not to me.
We don't have him on Zoom.
We've seen alpha. We see beta emerge from alpha, delta emerge from beta, and now Omicron is emerging from delta. So, the answer is that we are very fortunate in one sense. If this had happened 30 years ago, when we didn't have the internet, or 40 years ago, and we didn't have the internet, and we didn't have these tools, and we didn't have the ability to have Zoom meetings, that might have dealt a crippling blow to our organization that would have been virtually impossible or nearly impossible to recover from. We're very fortunate, not just for Kiwanis, but for the world, that we have the means of communication. I think it kept the economy largely alive too. How many people were able to work from remote environments? We've learned a lot. We've learned how to conduct these meetings. We've learned how to recruit members. We've developed a greater interest in having internet clubs. I'm confident that the pandemic in one form or another will continue to recede. It's directly proportionate to the vaccination rate. And if Omicron if there's anything positive about Omicron, hopefully it'll encourage people who have not chosen to be vaccinated or boosted to give further consideration to that at this point. But I think we've demonstrated we can survive this. Does it take a toll on us? Is it a hit on our organization? Yes. But we've also seen clubs formed. We've seen clubs grow. Last year was our fourth best year in 20 years in terms of the number of new clubs we opened. And that was entirely during the pandemic period. So, we have to persevere and stay with it and look for a brighter day and make the best of what we have right now.
Questions?
In your service in Kiwanis, what's been your favorite service project you participated in?
My favorite service project. I thought you were going to ask me what's the favorite position that I've had in Kiwanis, because I really like being my club treasurer, but at some point I decided to do something else. Yeah. my favorite service project actually is the one that my club does, feeding families at Christmas and at Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving. We basically have about 120 families in our community that we provide a meal to. And then in addition, we invite them down to a restaurant for a meal on Christmas Day itself. And it's a project that enables you to you're able to stand outside a supermarket and invite people to donate food for a couple of weeks and add that to what the club spends, and you have Thanksgiving dinners for 120 people, basically 3 full baskets of food and a turkey or ham for each person, for each family. And so it's very satisfying to do that. It's very satisfying to see how generous people are when you're standing in front of the supermarket, because what you often find is that the people who seem to have the least are the ones who are inclined to give you the most. It's an interesting fact I've observed over the years. And of course, going to their homes, then when we actually deliver it to their homes, that is a very satisfying experience. I mean, there are a lot of satisfying experiences. Sending 50 kids off to our Camp Kiwanis. We have a camp in upstate New York for underprivileged and handicapped children, property we own in upstate New York, and we bus them in from every place that's more than a couple of hours away from the location near Rome, New York. And you go down there on Sunday morning and see these kids off on the bus, go back on the next Saturday when they've spent the week at camp. Some of these are inner city kids, and that's another one of the satisfying experiences. But if I can come back to the first story for a moment, an experience, I didn't have this experience, but it happened in the town next door. Group was out doing the same thing my club does, asking for food donations at their local supermarket. And they tell the story of the time somebody came out from the supermarket with 2 or 3 full bags of groceries and went to give them all, to donate all of them. And the club members stopped them for a second and said, we are looking for a donation and we really appreciate it. We're not asking you to give us everything. We're not asking you to give us everything that you have. And the fellow said to them, you don't understand. I need to do this because last year you came to my house. So you never know, you never know.
Other questions? We know you've been traveling a lot. We were talking about your running, that you'd like to run. Put us all to shame with that whenever we're on the road. We know that you're out running. You just got back from, was it Belgium?
Yes. Yeah. It was actually my 3rd trip to Europe in the past 2 months.
Yeah.
And the particular trip that you're referring to, the most recent trip, it was a wonderful trip. And we got a lot done and the people are terrific. The frustration of the trip was in the city of Ghent, where our European headquarters is located. I could find absolutely no place to safely run. And when I went up to the fitness center in the hotel, it had 1 treadmill and it was out of order. So when I arrive in the town, I basically, depending on when I'm coming and when I'm going, I basically have 2 conversations at the front desk. Where can you go running around here? And the second conversation is usually, where can you go to mass around here on Sunday? So,
yeah.
But usually I succeed in finding a place to run in often spectacular places, actually.
Yeah. Well, he's been putting a lot of miles on in the name of Kiwanis and is a big advocate for the SLP program. So Chip and I definitely appreciate that from our positions with the SLP. And the entire board, we know everybody on the board is our big SLP advocates. Any other questions? No? Well, we appreciate your time so much today. Thank you so much for zooming in.
Okay, I
We'll
enjoyed seeing you. I enjoyed seeing you folks. Keep doing all the good things you do and have a good holiday, okay?
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
All right.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, that was great. Kind of fun.